Welcome back. The first thing we're going to be doing is sketching out a basic measurement, and it's going to be a gown. So I'll be working with the front. The length is what I'll be measuring out first. Here I have my 12 inches, which is the underbust measurement, plus my ½ inch. That's 12.5 inches for joining on the shoulder. And the half length is 15 inches, so here I have 16 inches. The full length is 57 inches, so I have here the length of 59 inches, which means I added 2 inches extra. So let's first rule out our length. This is the full length. Here is the half length, and here is the underbust length. Here I have my 8.5 inches, which is for the armhole. So there's no point ruling it straight down since it's just going to cover the shoulder part. So this is the armhole. Then the circumference measurement. First we have the shoulder divided by 2, which is 7 inches. Then on my 8.5 inches, I'm going to mark out the bust circumference measurement divided by 4. That's 34 divided by 4. I have 8.5 inches. Below my underbust length, I have the underbust circumference measurement divided by 4. I have my waist measurement divided by 4, and here you can get the distance between the underbust circumference measurement and the waist. Then you can also get the distance between the waist and the hip measurement. So here I have the hip measurement divided by 4, and here is my knee length. That's like above my knee, like 2 inches before my knee is 34 inches. So the hip measurement divided by 4 is 9 inches, and on my knee point I measured 8 inches, which means minus 1 inch from whatever you have for the hip. So I have my 8 inches. So to the base is going to be 8 inches. 8 inches straight down. So now we're going to connect the points. To do that, first we have the armhole, then from the bust to the underbust circumference, then to the waist, then to the hip. If you have your curve set, you can use it to connect your point, and in the absence of that, you can just sketch it out. It's as easy as this. Then straight down. Now to this measurement that I have here, I'm going to be adding my allowance as seam allowance, and I'll be using 2 inches. You can add 1.5 inches. You can add 2.5 inches. You can go with any seam allowance of your choice, but I advise you have enough measurements. It's better you have enough than the measurement to be short. So I'm going to connect these points as well, and it's going to be the front. Now coming back to the armhole, I'm going to take 1 inch from this point. That's 1 inch. Then to get the midpoint, which is about 4.75 inches. That's after the 4 we have 4.5, then just 2 lines so that I can get to 7.5. Then I'm going to be coming back by 0.5 so that I can carve out my armhole. Now, having draft out the front, we need to cut. And on the half length, I am going to cut it out as well. Now, the base is where we are going to work with. I am going to place this to cut out the fabric for the front, and for the back as well. I'm going to use the same thing, but I'll be adding my zipper allowance to the back. So let's do that. Now, this is what I have for the front and the back as well. As you can see, I've added my zipper allowance, and there's need to cut this. You can as well add your slits to the front. I have a tutorial on a front slit, a dress with a front slit, so you can watch that so as to know how to go about it, just in case you don't want your slits at the back like mine. The next thing we are going to do is to move back to the half length, and we'll be cutting out the back first, but then I need to repeat this. Just the sketch, I need to repeat it. Now, our armhole is not going to come out this way because it's for the back this time around, but for the front it's still okay. But first, here is the sketch, and the neck design. Okay, I can still bring out my neck design as well here. It's going to be the same thing, and for the back I won't be adding any allowance, that's the zipper allowance, to the back this time around, because it's going to have a closure that's loops, a button and the loops. So what I'll be measuring out, it's just going to be the neck width and the depth. You can go about the neck design and cut whatever you want. Your design, it could be a round neck, canoe neck, or any design of your choice. So for me, I'll be going with a measurement of 2.75. It's not up to 3 inches. And the depth, I'll be working with the depth of 3.5 inches. It's going to be a round neck for the back, or a U shape, just like this. And here I am going to come down by 1 inch, so which means I'll be slanting. I'll have to slant the shoulder first. Then from this point I am going to extend the sleeve. Now it's going to be like just like a cut together with the sleeve. I'm going to extend it by 3 inches. So the 3 inches is going to serve as my sleeve length. Don't forget, we came down by 1 inch already. Now I'm drafting on the back pattern, so I came down by 1 inch here, and there is also need to come down again by 1 inch. So it means it's going to come out this way now. Just like this. Then to connect with the hem, the bust, just like that. So if this is what I'll be using for the front, it's just going to be like me repeating what I have here and cutting it out just the way it is. So for that reason, I'm going to use this. Then for the back, since we are not cutting out the armhole for back, so I'll be using this to cut and place it to cut the front. Sorry, I still need to slant the neck. Good. Now, from what I have here, I can just place this to cut the for the back, and it's going to be my veil net. Here I'm using a nude net, but then the neck design, there's going to be a bit different on the neck design, and that's because I don't want the back as low as this. I'll be taking just 1 inch for the back depth. So that's just the only difference. Then every other thing remains the same, and I will be cutting it out like that. Now here's the back, and on the front I am going to measure down. Okay, I'm going to measure down the length of my yoke. All right, like I said, to cut out the yoke part of the front, here I measured down 8.5 inches. That's 8 inches is the length. Then the folding here we serve as a 1/2 inch. And on this part of the shoulder, you can make it a straight yoke if you want, but for me, I am going to measure the length of 5 inches. Here's my 5 inches. So I'm going to slant from this point. Now I'm going to cut this out. Which I'm going to place on my veil net, fold it into 2 to cut. Now, to complete this, since it's going to be a padded, there's need for me to place this on the front on my pattern, and this time around I'm going to add extra 2 inches. Remember, in our tutorial, for as many that has been following my tutorials, anytime you are cutting a padded blouse, we always had extra 2 inches. That's because we're going to be cutting out some inches and we need this allowance. Now, from what I have here, what I am going to do is trace this out. This is 8 inches. And this side, now this is what we are working with. First, we need to fold based on the nipple to nipple measurement, and I'll be folding 4 inches. The nipple to nipple measurement is 7, that's 3.5. You can watch my tutorial on padded blouse. I have a whole lot of them on padded blouse so that you can understand this part very well. And also you can follow this video step by step to understand this better. Now this is 8 inches, so we need to get the underbust. The underbust is 12 inches with our allowance is 12.5 inches. Now remember, this is 4 inches because the nipple to nipple measurement is 7, that's 3.5 plus our allowance. Here at the base, I'll be taking out 3.5 inches all the way to the underbust, and on the neck here I'll be taking out 3 inches so that I can connect this. Now from the underbust measurement, we also need to get the nipple points. You can get your nipple points measured from the shoulder or from the underbust. The nipple point from the underbust is 3 inches. In that case, sorry about that. In that case, I'm going to be curving it out to meet this point. Then from here back to my 3 inches. So this is what I'll be cutting out. Now at this point, you can still go in by 0.25. That's your choice. Even if you don't go in by 0.25, you still have the results coming out nice. So I am just going to slant to the very edge, just like this. So in case you still want to go in, it means you go in this way. Then now what we have here is what I'll be placing on my fabric to cut. That's for the Ankara fabric now. So I already cut out for the sides, and for the middle piece, because it's going to come out like a V shape, so there is need for me to go in by 0.5 inch. So we already minus 8 inches. Now it's 8.5 inches, and I am going to slant from the edge. Now it is 8.5 inches, and remember we cut out 8 inches depth from the net. That means I am going to add my 0.5 inch to the Ankara fabric in order to fill up the space. So this is what I have. As you can see, I've increased the length on the Ankara fabric by 0.5 inch. Now this is how it's going to look like. This is the front, and this is going to be the yoke. I have a tutorial on how to attach your yoke to your padded blouse from cutting to sewing. So this is how it's going to look like afterwards. What we're going to do now is we'll be cutting out lining for this fabric, so and also my interfacing, everything that is needed. Then I'll join the fabric together. I'll also join the yoke. After that, the back. Here is the back. I am also going to place the back this way. So the shoulder here will be joined from this point down, same to the other side. Then the base, I'll be joining the base for the back and also the base for the front. This is going to be the base for the front, which will be joined to the base. This will be joined, then the base for the back as well, before bringing out the shape. We'll not be doing the sewing tutorial, so just in case you have a question, you can leave it in the comment section. I'll be there to answer your every of your comments. And like I said in our last tutorial, just in case you have a style you have sent for the video, don't worry, it will be done. We are trying to pick the request one after the other, and it will soon get to your turn. So, and you can still place you can still leave your style, whatever style you have that you want us to do here on O Africa TV. You can either leave it on the comment section, or if you want to on my mail, you can leave your comments in the comment section and I will respond to every of your comments, either to get across to me personally or to send it via email. That will be done. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You can share this video so others too will learn. Until I see you next class, stay cool.